But I mean, BBL have enjoyed playing this map as well, so they just need to get into the server and recognize those tendencies coming out from Giant X. We've already highlighted some of them here. I like that we mentioned
Sociable, don't you dare.
There's no way he will. There's no way he will. He's toying with us here. But yeah, I just want them to be able to get a good read on the game to begin with. I think I'm glad that you mentioned pistols as well here, Sue, because we've been praising BBL's pistols all throughout this stage, yet these past couple of weeks, they've just not been up to what the standard usually is for them.
Yeah, I'm just thinking also about the pistols, also about the amazing conversion that Giant X has also after winning those pistols, how strong they go in the bonus. To me, it's a lot about tempo right to start at the gate. We saw how BBL is very fast in the sense, it's a very fast team. I think that Giant X can play with their minds. I hope that they exploit mid and they make BBL make very difficult decisions on how to establish their defense.
And I want Giant X to chill a little bit as well, because Flickless, yes, you can get away with some team flash foolery on a Zen.
He did kill Ara a couple times.
But you can't keep getting away with that, can they, Mitch and Tom?
They can.
Well, only time will tell. Based on what we've seen so far, there didn't seem to be any stopping Giant X, and now they're on their map pick for BBL. One that they managed to win. I checked this time, Tom, yesterday. Rechecked my memory. But it was thanks to Sociable putting up a kill record for Stage 2. He had 36 kills. He was on fire. And that was in regulation as well. I don't think it's fair to put that same pressure on him, but then we have to ask, what will BBL rely on? They need to bounce back here. A decimation on their own pick. If it ends the same here, it'll be 3 chances for GX to lock themselves into champs and lock BBL out.
Yeah, it's worth saying that the same thing happened yesterday. They had a poor start on their own map choice, managed to come back. But I do feel like that extra little bit of confidence for GX is going to be a great sign for them. We've seen the level that this team can perform at already. Now both teams are seemingly starting out on, at least in their last results, their favored side of the map. We'll see if that can play into BBL's hands. Getting that defensive side start, a lot of the pressure initially is going to be put onto Yumpy, waiting on that B side, but look at the rotation already. The defensive side have a good read.
Yeah, players a little bit far behind if this initial fight is taken, and Magnum's already dropped. Now here come the reinforcements. Net already landing. They can't really punish on the back of that. There's players to cover further back. Net's taken out, and an immediate dive towards Yumpy. Full control for GX. They finally lose a fight, but Prophet falls immediately. And Levin's flank now, it will amount to nothing. Even if he finds the first, the whole squad would know he's there, and West Side in such a menace to play against for BBL in map 1. It'll be no difference here.
Yeah, it started off strong with the opener, and from then onwards, it just seems like they're able to pick up the pace so rapidly that there was just no chance for anybody to react. You saw attempted sort of like gamble plays from Yumpy, looking to try and get in off the utility, but you almost wonder if it was worth just trying to buy a little bit of extra time just to let Levin get into a position. That's how we do it, boys. We stay calm and they execute. Instead, though, GX are going to win themselves another pistol round. That is the lot collected so far. And the investment from BBL is almost nothing.
The fundamentals there for GX as well. Every piece of utility thrown through. You look at Ara getting blinded and hit by the net. I don't know how they've won that. There's a firing squad down mid. But Ara was in trouble. There was always cover for him there. There's always a second layer, third layer behind. That's what I like to see.
And the gun's already been retrieved as well.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. They'll lose that player early. They've still got a margin for error with Flickless too, so not going to haunt them too much. And it sort of makes me understand why Pipson was calling those pauses so early on. Because if this is what he's been seeing in scrims, if this is evidently what is the potential of GX, it must be frustrating to see them with those early fumbles earlier on in the season.
Oh, we've heard about this squad being scrim gods for quite a while, even last year when things weren't going to plan. Now Cloud with that extra bit of time as a leader. Things have definitely been looking a lot better. Now the net timing here could be everything. A couple of players left in this corner. Playing within the smoke, of course, still only pistols, no weapons to be found just yet. But with that smoke down, they may just opt to try and wrap around. Bear in mind, Yumpy on the other side only has a classic, so getting anything would be nice. And while Westside, he has other ideas.
They've left it late here, but I like the approach. Again, you see that smoke down, you start to wonder, why have they put that there? And they are on the low buy. We've already seen, I mean, something Arrow was comfortable with doing, even in those second rounds, was playing inside of smoke with a shorty. No reason to think that's not what you're facing off against there. They do very well on BBL to find that opening. But again, Westside proves to be such an annoyance. He's picking off kill after kill in what could be dangerous scenarios, and they end up being tidied up very nicely.
Let's go, guys! Let's go! Nice! Let's go, boys! Let's go!
Continuing that momentum. This is where BBL, even if you're continuing from the last map, are looking for that combo breaker. We saw them have a stellar defense, 8 rounds versus Liquid, but as you said, it was basically based off one man having a truly unstoppable performance. There needs to be more today, especially. And just look at the pressure already being put through Cloud!
Oh, man.
Just off the back of the drone will catch Yumpy off a wallbang.
His echo location working wonderfully. You heard where that drone was thrown from. That's a big blow in a round like this where there's, I mean, just take a look at the weapons for GX. So many weaknesses, but they don't look to be anything short of strengths for Giant X. They've already found picks aplenty. And although it's recovered on, that's still an advantage for GX. It's weapons down mid-open, and BBL left with no idea where that hit will eventually come in.
At least for now, it seems like they have the right idea. Sociable getting the info, and again, looks to be the beast on this map once again! They say lightning never strikes twice, but this man still looks to be the ruler of Sunset. He has got them around once again, but that happened on the last map too.
Well, exactly. He was the one putting up the early round, and well, that was more or less the last heartbeat coming out of BBL. But in this map, we know the heights that he can reach, how deadly the deadlock can be. And that might just light the fire under them, get BBL back into thinking they can win this one.
I love the nod. He's like, I know who I am. I know what I can do.
There's gonna be plenty more of that.
If you guys could, like, you know, help. Early stuff though, immediate stun, but they don't check for Prophet. He was sat in the corner, goes for a little bit more and is punished for it. It's a round that, as said, in the last map, GX were able to convert and they were right back to winning ways. And even though the early battles haven't gone badly, BBL have had to give up that space.
Well, no one behind the drone there, thankfully. This was a big swing for BBL. They see that and start to rotate. Magnum peeps out on mid to see who's about. Well, Sociable has managed to fly under the radar. He'll just be taking in Petra, and with the play coming towards A, maybe that can amount to an early flank. The good thing here, take a look at the utility in play for that attacking side, and they don't have anything to really cover their back beyond the camera. But they do have all the information, thanks to the hat off the head. West side, there's Flickless trading out on site. And no connection from Sociable's ulti. That's a big avoid from GX, a 3v2 post plant.
Set them up nicely. Already, they'll spot a man at the back corner, but Grabinio's goal is almost just to bait to allow his teammates to have that cross settled. First shot already goes, and there's the swing. Perfect stuff from GX. Well regimented in their post plant. And well, once more, it's a blip where they lose their bonus, but they are straight back to winning ways.
The annihilation from Sociable, it looked like it was going to connect. He was so close, a pixel or two in the other direction, and maybe he has that. Maybe that turns the tide of the round in their favor, but instead, GX are able to set up into this 3 versus 2.
Nice,
They've got
boys.
time on their side. Tuck in, wait for the push, an immediate punish afterwards. A 3-1 start, and it is reminiscent of the previous map.
Yeah.
As I said, if we see GX start lights out here, a lot of the hope for BBL making it to champion starts to fade. And this round, there should be no contest, really. It's a couple sheriffs, and already it's down to literally a couple, just the 2 of them left.
That seems to be the difference right now. GX have not only got their players hitting individually, but you look at those fundamentals. I'm talking about moments where you have an advantage, you play together as a group, you have those timings off the swings, like those calls have been pretty much perfect all the way through the match. Okay, a flash or two has gone amiss, but that's going to happen sometimes. Sociable will at least get one, but Just look at where Yumpy is. I don't think there's any way that he's going to do anything. And you can see it here, how careful they're being, checking all of the angles, making sure there's no cheeky positions that can be found.
Planted.
And well, the round is over. It's more so, can Yumpy make it costly?
What's truly terrifying about this is yesterday we saw moments where Levin was overextending, like 4v3s given away because he was feeling it. And even on the ISO where I think his ults were honestly horrendous, but the actual round-to-round play was there, the utility was there, but then he would overextend, he would overplay his hand. So far, he's not even drawn the cards to overplay. He's got 2 kills in this series. So far, 0 on this map. He's being shut down. And if it was attack side here, maybe I'd have a little bit more to say. Oh, he's trading out the space and so on. But they are diffing him. And someone like Arrow, who started out this season as, I'll be honest, a bad duelist. It looked like a bad pickup. He was not playing that well. He would have a good map and then a horrendous map. He's now come into form at just the right moment. And we're seeing Levin fade away.
That's what we talk about. It's all about peaking at the right time. And the fact is, Champions is the right time. GX will look at the changes they made, the players they took from the tier 2, and maybe more so the player they took from another team within the VCT.
Standing ahead.
And all of those are paying off right now. Side and Cloud have been there a little longer than the rest, but Flickless, Aura, and Grabinho really do look like some of the best signings we've seen. Look at Aura already. So much space taken. In fact, Grabinho's gone with him.
In fact, he's going to cut the cross. Westside's second death on this map so far. A big hitter for GX down and out, and an advantage for BBL to play with. The players on site are under pressure. A split coming through market, and backside taken and planted on. With no intention from GX to push further into that setup, they will simply hold the backside. It does leave them a little bit boxed in. It means Magnum can fight from one side, while Profek comes in from another, and 3 players in market. This will be a very quick hit. That ult gave away the position of Flickless. They need a hero to step up on GX, or BBL will be back on the board. Grabinho desperately low and dealt with. And there's Levin sliding through, still showing some confidence. A second finally found.
Yeah, it seems like BBL had a much sort of better read, but also I feel like the communication was good. They lost mid control, but they'd already taken B main in the process, so they were able to hold on to that. I think that one of the players that did the best in that scenario was Magnum, at repositioning, knowing the ground they've lost and knowing the ground that they needed to keep hold of. And that made it so that there was kind of nowhere else for GX to go. I don't mind the use of the Rolling Thunder to sort of push themselves into a gap, but
Come on, boys!
that gap was held. Well, BBL, they are going to get themselves back onto the board, but once again, we've seen moments. We're yet to see a streak.
Something that's really important is when we see Levin finding all that contact there, taking those 2 kills, sliding through for the second. He got fired up. He's not looking dejected. He's not looking shut down. And so many young guns who've had this kind of poor performance at the... Oh no. Challenging Westside's a dangerous game. I mean, they saw the cam there earlier. Sociable knows who's on the other side, but he wants to show he's the king of Sunset.
Yeah.
Now at least he will push Westside back.
Well, this map control is fairly important for the defense. If they can hold on to that, then it means they can gamble elsewhere, have a little bit more control into middle. It seems like maybe after the last round, GX have realized, okay, we can't allow them to have that. But they're going to at least explore the map elsewhere, potentially try and get middle at the same time.
He walled himself in, and as that breaks, I mean, Westside might be thinking that he couldn't be there anymore, but the wall goes up to allow him to retreat. Pit in play.
Oh,
deep
that's
one
the pit.
from Ara, and he's dropped the pit. That's leaving Sociable a little bit more isolated. He has to stand strong as they emerge from the choke point. Low on ammo, low on health, and eventually he will fall. The play on mid, key for Cloud, and at least he'll get one, keeping the numbers even.
Oh, it's a ratty angle, though. Grabinho sat on the edge of the smoke. It's the peaking timing, and 11 doesn't manage to connect, and now it's left all onto Profek. 1 versus 2. Otherwise, that pretty horrific back and forth will continue. GX could extend their lead, and to be honest, from this point, should. They've managed to make it back into main. So many angles that Profek needs to clear, so many positions that he would have to get past before he can even look towards any of these players. And with that spike already ticking a decent amount, the stun going through, he's avoided it, but they don't need to swing this. They don't need to get aggressive. Again, the control the GX are showing in these post plants is sublime. They deserve their lead.
Without a doubt. You know, there's many games that you see be this one-sided, and I'm taking into account the first map, and you think, well, this is just the other team making mistakes across the board. What are they thinking? That there's such simple solutions to this. A Gordian knot, all they need to do is slice through, but they refuse to draw their sword, but that's not the case here. It's been nothing but sharp gameplay from GX from start to finish. They're looking clean, they're playing together, there's always layers to the peaks they're going for, and it's night and day to the squad that we saw starting out this season that we imagined we would see here today.
Well, a hero rifle saved over for Prophet. It's gone immediately. Hunter's Fury used alongside it. And that's already going to get the tag onto Magnum. The one piece of the puzzle that they had in this round. The only other is the overdrive, and guess what? That's gone as well. Ara feeling confident. Just look how dominant these rounds are becoming. They're even managing their orbs as well. They delay the plant to make sure that extra ultimate orb can be grabbed by Cloud. I'm off for Sociable. Maybe he gets one. But this is what I'm talking about when I mean control. Like, there's nobody over-facing, nobody getting too aggressive. Maybe once the time ticks a little bit, they'll consider it, but even still, it's going to be another in-zone flawless. We've had so many of them throughout this series so far. GX just looking like a different beast.
And this is where, again, we get towards those panic stations. We saw it at 6-1 on the previous. But Tom, we talk about this map, you said, at least at an eye test, it looks like this is the better half for both of these teams. This is the favored side, and on the defense, there has been not much to report back on, other than that the attackers are dominantly winning most of the rounds, that they look clean on GX, and no surprise that BBL are going to call for that timeout. They've now got a few ultis, they've got weapons, and if they fumble this round, the lead going to GX already looks so daunting.
Yeah, it feels very difficult for them to try and turn this. I'll be honest, and a lot of that is because I'm just impressed with what GX are actually doing. They have seemingly a set game plan to get them into sites, and then their post plants, I can't fault any of them. Like, every single one, if they have an advantage, the conversion has been there. They've been spectacular in that manner. Now, sure, there have been games that we've seen, like versus Mates, for example, where we have had BBL turn it on the attack. Like, I think with both of these teams, it's not like a done deal. But it's nothing to do with that at this stage. I think GX have just come in today looking like the more well-regimented team from top to bottom, everybody performing, and I'm yet to see the same sort of form coming out of BBL. And it's getting to the point where, well, unless we are going to have Pacific and EMEA giving us reverse sweeps, that this might be too late anyway.
Well, that's what Kukuka wanted. She wanted to see what seemed to be a clear 3-0, and then it comes back. So, if anything, blame Kukuka for this one. It's just been an incredible performance from GX, really and truly. The team I saw at the start of the year I didn't think would be making this deep of a run, let alone looking this good on what could be the game that qualifies them. 2 champions, the first time since 2023, and they are hungry for it. Big pickup, though. It's a couple picks for BBL as they find the ult, but GX answer back immediately. By the time Sociable's ult finally claims Westside, Yumpy, Sociable, and Magnum are gone. This is a disaster. They just called a pause, Tom, and I think you look at what that means for BBL. It's panic stations, it's trying to fix the flaws, it's trying to patch the holes before too much water's taken in, while GX, they get to say, okay, we prepped our first 6 or 7 rounds, everything went great. What are the new ideas, coach? And they get to approach it from a position of calm, and evidently that has worked wonders.
Yeah, I think as well, like, even just look at this round. Like, a lot of the time when somebody gets caught by the annihilation, you're going to have a moment where you're spamming in towards that ultimate to try and save your teammate. Ara was not doing that. He was taking space, he was fighting the remaining players, he was trying to remove those threats. And sure, here and there, there's a couple of exit kills for the side of BBL, but when you look at the economy and how much it's thriving for GX, they're not going to mind too much. They just wanted to remove those guns.
I see that ult connect and think this is their chance, but look how quickly BBL run through that smoke to try to follow up on the back of it, and nobody clears the left side. Ara is just given free real estate to take 2 picks and bring them way into the lead. In fact, they don't even need to commit to getting Westside out of the cocoon because they're too busy shooting all the players. GX 7-2. Fabinho's feeling confident.
Yeah.
He's even meeting up with Ara here. The flank around a little too late, but a chance for Prophet from Magnum as well. Okay, it's one of the better starts we've had for BBL.
And that doesn't mean we're going to have the greatest of finishes. The spam actually doing more damage onto Fabinho. I think Prophet has done well in moments to sort of hold on to that spawn control. This has been one of the better scenarios we've had. I think Levin, with the ultimate online as well, means that he could take that extra little bit of space. It's going to make it difficult for Fabinho to hold on here because that ultimate should just fry him, but he's trying to reposition to almost give his teammates opportunities. Ara is the first point of contact. Flickless trying to set him up with additional utility. Now Ara in that corner is going to be removed. A much cleaner scenario for BBL. They are back onto the board, but once again, Mitch, going to sound like a broken record. They are yet to streak any rounds together.
Yeah, it's a flash in the pan so far, but they haven't been cooking, and I think for GX, you see here again, good delay, but BBL's response, that's inspiring a little bit more confidence. Paranoia fault line go through, they stop 2 iterations of pushes, but BBL approach it together. They come in, flood the site, Magnum's left to market while everyone else comes from spawn, and that's what gives them the advantage against the scattered forces of GX, overwhelming those individuals. And again, the off of Levin, finding something. But so many of these factors that we look at for BBL is almost always being online, like Levin, have not been there consistently. Yumpy's having a really tough game, and with 3 rounds on the board, we need to see them show up. This could still be a 7-5 half, and then we can forget how dominant it looked at the start. But if GX win these last 2, it's again going to be a gauntlet for BBL to run to just get back into the map.
Bear in mind, throughout this series so far, BBL have 5 rounds, and none of them have been in tandem with each other. They have all been singular rounds. So right now, there's a chance for GX to take us straight back to regular programming and make us forget that these individual rounds even happen. They have ground themselves to a halt at early default. I think the rounds that they've lost have been going into that spawn hit and getting surrounded by the BBL players. The more direct takes, other than a sociable 4K, have succeeded every single time. And once again, they look to go for this B split.
Prophet spotted ahead, but he can't quite connect the kill. Paranoia ready, though, for this play coming in through the market. Magnum still loses the duel. Arrow was blinded up near-sided and somehow still wins that. I don't think he was close enough to see. And another for Ara. He is dominating. Running through the site. He's going to run through this smoke, I feel, standing there as he did before with a shorty in hand, waiting for an invader of the smoke. As it fades, I think we might see Yumpy in that corner fade too. Paranoia is good, slows down the push once more, but this time GX have the numbers. And as Yumpy steps forward, he'll find one. But Ara's itching for this fight. It'll be a 3-man swing when he finally gets contact. Ara with a 3rd, but he's shut down. Yumpy, we said he had to show up. He's had 4 already. A chance for all 5. The read is right, but the bullets, he's out of ammo. Grabinho shuts him down in the end. It looked like that could have been it. The return to form for BBL, but it's the same old story with GX winning the round.
If he had aced it with 1 bullet, it would have been one of the most crazy clutches we've ever seen. But again, Grabinho is that safe pair of hands. Sits 10 and 6, only behind the aggressor of Ara. Oh, it was close to being something special. But close doesn't win anything. 8-3.
Scanning ahead.
And already that is as bad as start goes. Hunter's Fury thrown in. Magnum will be there to even things up immediately. A much more aggressive fight at the beginning of this round. But the second that is noted by GX, they group up.
Well, all but Westside There's a man happy playing on his own.
I know exactly where you are.
Old Pop, left side now knows where these players are. He can sense out the gaps. And it will be an immediate push towards this B site. Rolling Thunder stops them, pushes them off the site. BBL locked out as a plant comes through. Could be an attempt from Levin to quickly reclaim that space. It looks like that's exactly what we're getting. Ara on the other side, and Ara delivers the double! The nail in the coffin of this half for BBL. As they seem to be locked out, and it's this man doing the heavy lifting. 17 and 7. Maybe 18 by the time we finish. This has been a masterclass from Ara, from GX. And the desolation of BBL continues into map number 2.
Yeah, it's just been a phenomenal half from him individually. We spoke about Sociable as Thanos, but at the moment he's the one that's getting snapped. We'll have to see if there's anything left in the tank for BBL. Otherwise it could be 2-0 after the break.
Your body knows. A sense of victory. Seized when mind, movement, and gear ignite as one. Now, step into your zone. Designed to win.
Nine on the board as we come back in. It's one better than what we saw in the previous map. But yeah, a game of inches perhaps for BBL. But they are miles behind. 6 rounds in it, and a pistol round again could put GX on the finish line with just one step to take. And if they do claim this map, as we said, a reverse sweep needed for BBL, or after being one round away from locking in champions just yesterday. They will be watching the tournament from home, and that has got to be, it's one thing to miss out on the event, but missing out by 1 round and bombing out of the lower bracket, that's something you'll carry with you to your deathbed.
That's the thing. For GX, they were a team that I believe at no stage could have made it on points. Well, once it made anywhere near the playoffs, they needed a crazy run all the way through. And that crazy run is looking like a reality. More and more as the rounds go on. Ara has definitely hit championship form. A chance for his first ever champions, but there is a recovery. A 3v3. Pistol not done just yet, but bear in mind GX have won all of them so far. And Magnum will meet the same fate.
One enemy remaining.
Okay, Rubinho left alone. A loss here for BBL, that's it. I mean, we might as well pack up. Rubinho, 12 and 7, had a good game, still relatively healthy coming into this fight. The 2 versus 1, one of the best chances with the plant now in their favor. They're playing backside 2, it's going to confuse Rubinho. This looks way more like it's a plant for main, but it is a little open. He's suspicious, and now he's down to 12 HP. That should be it done. No chance anymore. A paranoia held by Profek as well for the second that entry comes out. Although they've just cleared it, and they've missed the boat. He's managed to thread the needle right through. He's going to sneak up. This could be a freebie on 1. He's looking the wrong way, but so is Profek. Now it's a 1v1. Yumpy, he failed the clutch. The 1v1 against this very man in the previous half, but now's his time to put up a round. Halfway defused already. It's stuck by Rubinho, but Yumpy won't let it fly a second time.
It's a lifeline. That's about all we can say for BBL thus far. It is a lifeline, but a well-needed one. Ara started this round off so well, honestly. This man has been unstoppable in this lower bracket run. A player to fear, no doubt about it. least managed to get themselves their first pistol of the series. A conversion should be fairly likely. Only a single sheriff in hand for Grabinho. He's in the right place at the right time, but yeah, I was about to say, if they don't check that box, I think we just end it here. They have cleared it. Orb to be gained. With a post plant, with 4 classics on the other side, there's even a question of, do GX just die to the spike?
Yeah, it could be the play. Deny some of those orbs, so many valuable ults on the side of BBL. There's something about Ara against BBL. He seems to hit another level. I think back to the second game of this stage, when they played their opening, he was mid, I think less than average. Then they come up against BBL, he drops 31 kills on Lotus. He was massively positive in the series overall, including map 1. Big reason why they were able to win that. It goes back to middling after. I don't know if he's just got like some sort of grudge against Pal, but he certainly shows up for these games. 9-5 though, BBL starting to heat back up, starting to find their footing, starting to connect some rounds.
Yeah, that is the first time that they have managed to win 2 rounds in a row in this series thus far. It's not a great stat, but at least that trend has been broken. I'd say as well, like, if you go back to that early stage, I might have agreed, but I now think that Ara's probably added 3 or 4 more teams to the list.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't like them either. Maybe he doesn't like anyone, because it really has been impressive, his rise to form. And in this map especially, but let's be real, now we head into that defensive side. This is where Westside becomes more scary. This is where he has setups. This is where, well, we just saw a post about whether he's the best Sentinel in EU if we don't count Nats, which I'd probably agree with if we're not counting Nats, but maybe a little bit of a way to go to get the #1 overall.
Oh, well, Ara was setting himself up to take Magnum, but he's already been dropped. An immediate flood back in from GX to backside. Cloud and Westside, one blinded, but the other still more than capable of hearing all the ruckus going on. Sociable's looking the wrong way. I think he even heard the steps of Grabinho. That's a big mistake. The advantage is piling up in favor of GX, and sure, they connected 2 rounds in a row, but that was off the pistol. Once there's weapons back in the hands of GX, it is regularly scheduled broadcast for us. Double digits secured. GX just a few strikes away from taking Sunset.
Yeah, it's a bonus, but it was a strong bonus as well. So I don't even think we can look at that and go, okay, they got a kill or 2, that's not bad, because ultimately there were moments in the rounds where you looked at it and go, okay, if they can find a gap there. I'll say as well, Magnum has had a fair few moments in this match where I'm looking at it and going, was that gamble worth it? Like, trying to take that space, we saw it, I think, in the first half as well, swinging into mid when there's 3 players waiting for him there. Especially on this defensive, on this attack half, him having those lurks.
Cover going out.
We need to see more. More GX. Definitely going into this defensive side. It has been the attack where they've got the majority of their round in recent games, but they are no slouches. That's not a bad start, though. Spoke about the Sentinel of Westside. He's gone, and you know what? Cloud will join him.
I think that's the first opening duel we've seen Levin find in this series. Compared to Ara, who I think is 10-4, somewhere around that margin.
Not bad.
He's been doing bloody well. And Levin immediately following up with a second BBL, storming the site, finding the plant, finding the round. This is what we want to see, a confidence builder for them. And this map is far from over. It just gets worrying thinking about how the previous went, thinking about how the rounds that they've won, some of them have been close. And they've been flashes in the pan. The rounds that GX won, they look repeatable. It's all fundamentals playing together, whether it's in retakes or on the other half, pushing into sites. It looked like the most the BBL could put up. It was never a roadblock. It was a speed bump. And GX just took the airtime as they hit it hard.
Well, the remaining 2 players are going to be able to hold on to their guns. And I think that should allow them a purchase going into the next round. A couple of players with a bit of cash to spare. Flickless should be able to drop one. Does mean there's going to be no break just yet for BBL, but I think as well something you mentioned earlier in the match, just seeing Levin having a round that I think you can ultimately say he won. because they have been few and far between where we've really seen this guy have the same impact that we know he can have.
Hit them fast, hit them hard.
Like I said, I think that was literally his first opening duel, but something to build on, perhaps for him. Immediate aggression from Ara. Cloud's following it up, and BBL just cannot catch a break. They finally win a round with flying colors, and immediately the mask is ripped from the ship. GX 4 versus 2.
There's some ults here, though. That Annihilation could potentially isolate one. Hunter's Fury being used. That gives the space. That's not a bad start.
Nice.
Not going to be able to connect anything further. Yumpy not wanting to take that risk. But with Annihilation available, that could be another drop. Now, they already know there's going to be players here, but there isn't a position that I feel like Sociable can use it from. He does immediately. He's waiting, but Grabinho is just that little bit quicker. Now Yumpy's left to do it all. One being pulled away. He finds that first kill, and he will get it as well! A Red Bull clutch! BBL finally have something to celebrate. A 2v4 victory in a round that looked dead.
Yeah, thankfully, Sociable uses the Annihilation onto Ara. If that catches anyone else, the form Ara's on, this one might have been done in their favor. That early fight just nuts, and then they try to punish, but Cloud is there. But what a recovery. Sociable finding the pick, getting the ult, and then landing it perfectly, leaving the IGL alone, but he delivers.
Well, he started
he got loud.
1-10, right?
1-10, yep.
He's now 9-13. The 4K that wasn't quite an ace definitely helped with that, but we know that when the blood gets pumping for BBL, they are a different beast, but even still, there is no doubt in my mind that, as you said, those are repeatable rounds. There's only been one victor, and that team is still 3 rounds in the lead.
Yeah, they have a buffer to work with, but this should be BBL's chance to build again on that previous round. They've got rifles, they're up against pistols. GX.
And an overdrive.
Stacking towards the B site. Yes, the overdrive from Ara actually probably the most terrifying of all. If BBL choose correctly, there is an easy site take towards the A site. Of course, we can see that. They certainly can't, I hope. But they are making the right call. The problem is rotations have come in already. Ara's there, but those steps are heard. Magnum knows that the presence now is towards this A side. He's pinging for it as well, and they're just going to rotate back, take that space towards Market, and put all the pressure onto West side. Great read from BBL.
Ult should run out before it has any impact as well. Magnum gets the timing. It is definitely a gamble. TP into the back of the site. They're going to try and bolster this up, but again, it's only weaker weapons here. Those Sheriffs need to start landing. Well, the spike has made its way onto the site. Still yet to be planted already. One for Grabinho, a second for Grabinho. He's been having a great game. He might even look for a little more, a third one. This shouldn't be possible. Magnum at least dropping one more, but Grabinho is still standing. Magnum may even have to ace it just to drag them through the round, and Ara has now found himself a rifle, but he has been spotted. That second player catching him in a net. Well, that time ticking away for Ara, trying to bait them into the fight once again. Magnum doesn't want to fall for it, doesn't want to turn this into a 1 versus 1, and well, he won't get the ace, but boy, he's not going to care. That got way too dangerous. And Grabinho, well, he did a good job there.
A bloody good job. They came into that with the right read, Tom. They went towards the site that only had one player after baiting rotations to the A site, after Magnum hearing those rotates, then catching the play back in the other direction. In terms of the early round, every single piece of the puzzle came together for BBL, and they still almost fumbled it. A big play needed by Magnum. He gets 4 kills. If he doesn't, if he whiffs even one of those shots, gives Grabinho a second bite of the cherry, and that round goes to GX. This is worrying because, again, we need to see that comeback. It's only a 2-round gap now, but we know how quickly GX can run away with things.
One thing I'll say for BBL, they're one of the few teams that I actually think winning rounds like that is better for them. Like, you see them screaming, you see them getting pumped up, those players that have maybe had quieter games, adding a tally, adding a round that they can call theirs. That's the only worry I really have for GX. Like I said, if you're talking about who has been the better team, I don't think it's arguable, but who's building into this map now? Well, that's BBL.
It all comes down to this round in my mind. This is where GX stand a chance to recover. Now already the door being broken and Market stopped the drone from going through. It delayed the rotates of GX, so they're a little bit behind the play. It means pressure towards the backside for Westside, who does pick up one, but Grabinho trying to help out in the smoke goes down. Backup comes in, and in fact, backup is the name of the game for GX. They step past the smokes, and then Westside runs through them. He's already picked up 3. It's mayhem on the site as Westside answers up with another, and Cloud steals the ace away, but as Angel says, a win's a win, a round's a round, and for GX, that's one step closer to securing this map.
They brought it close in the last one. But Westside, I said, the terrifying thing of going into this defensive half is that you have to walk into this man's realm.
No! It's okay.
He's proven himself.
Nice, Westy! Nice, Westy!
As one of the best Sentinels in the region right now. Well, because of that, BBL need to take a pause. A chance to talk things through. The deficit they had coming out of the first half was massive. It's still pretty decent. Three rounds to the good for GX. But I think even on our side, there is a part that's starting to have some belief that it's possible.
And that is everything. That's what I've heard from one side of the stage. This timeout.
What'd you hear from the other side?
I can't say it on air. Their mottos are for behind closed doors only. But a 3-round gap, it is a hell of a recovery. It's a damn sight better than what we saw in a set. And from 9-3 down, I agree with you. They're the ones building up into this. This timeout is where things need to course correct, and typically, I mean, coming out of timeouts, it's not a stat I think I've seen before for any team, but BBL certainly feel like one of those teams that has the highest success rate once they call that timeout of putting rounds on the board, that round at least, directly afterwards. And we've even seen it in this series. Think back to Ascent. Problem was they found one, and immediately GX went back to winning ways.
But the other problem they have here is this feels like almost all their credits on the line.
Yep. Do or die.
Yumpy's left on a stinger, considering one of the rounds was almost brought individually by him. And on the other side, well, Operator in play, Hunter's Fury, credits to spare. It is Feast versus potential Famine. If BBL lose this round, it might just be the end of the map.
Slow approach from BBL, the net cast wide. Nothing caught just yet as GX are playing so passive, void of information. And we actually saw this in the previous round where they were just keen. At one stage they thought about putting a drone through.
Oh!
And I said about slow and steady, that's anything but. Hunter's Fury thrown through. I don't know what gave away.
Drone. I think it was drone.
Oh, Yumpy activated the drone, immediate response. That's unlucky, to say the least. The pit, though, this could recover something for BBL, but now they're way behind, having to fight their way through, and Flickless keeping up the trading game, caught with an arrow out. He almost won that. Magnum's down to 13 HP, and the pit will fall. Sociable soon to follow with 12 seconds left. He needs to plant, and he's surrounded. 12-8. The beginning of the end for BBL.
Yeah, GX. They're going from strength to strength. Dealing with Westside has been nightmare fuel. And yeah, that is it. Look, drone used.
Awful.
And off the contact of the drone, Cloud knows exactly where he's using it from. That is just a perfect read to get rid of the initiator from the opposing side. I was going to say, like, whenever I see the Hunter's Fury in Cloud's hands, I'm always nervous. I think that's why we saw the slower round. If you go aggro, he's going to hit you with it. Instead, you lose your initiator off the fake. It also reveals that there's nobody else there, and that allows them to gamble back on the other side. Perfect use of a singular ultimate that wins GX around. And well, as said, just look at what's left for BBL. It is a jumble sale buy.
And looking at last round as well, just to say, I'll always criticize a Viper leaving the Viper's pit. I think it's one of the worst plays. Magnum had to. They were too far behind. They needed a pick. Arrow with another opening here as Magnum falls. And Ara might be under pressure, but he's got his wall to get out. No intention of doing so, though. Still tucked in the corner as Gravino holds down short. Now Ara steps up with the op again to drop Yumpy. And although he falls, it's a 4v2 that he's left his team in. A chance to have 3 maps in a row where any one win will lock them in for champions. What a return to form, a reawakening of GX. Sociable all that stands between them. And he will fall quickly at 13-8. GX 2-0, 1 map away from seeing that trophy in person.
God, they have looked impressive through both of these maps. Fundamentals have been on point. They have definitely looked like the better side. And while, as you said, they're going to have themselves a few more opportunities. They need 1 map. BBL, they need all 3.